Axios reporter Jonathan Swan notes Roy Beck, an influential immigration hawk who runs NumbersUSA, said Trump's nominee for DHS Secretary, Kirstjen Nielsen, further reduced the administration's leverage last week when she assured in her confirmation hearing she would protect DACA recipients. "This doesn't strike me as being from the Art of Negotiations book, does it?" Beck told me. In her confirmation hearing last week, Nielsen confirmed her pro-amnesty, mass immigration views by saying that it is the United States' responsibility to legalize DACA illegal aliens. "I believe that we must and we owe it to them to find a permanent solution," she said of passing a DACA amnesty that could potentially lead to a chain migration of 9.9 million to 19 million foreign nationals pouring into the U.S. legally. "It's no way to expect anyone to live a month or 2 months at a time," said Nielsen, even though the DACA work permits each last for 2 years. At the same hearing, Sen. Kamala Harris DCA pushed Nielsen to allow more illegals to enroll in the program, even though Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced that the DACA program's award of residency and work permits to nearly 800,000 beneficiaries would expire in March 2018. Sessions also ended further enrollment in the program, which was widely expected to be struck down by the federal courts. Harris and Nielsen's exchange went as follows: Harris: "Thank you. At a September 27 hearing, I asked DHS Acting Secretary Elaine Duke to extend the October 5 renewal deadline for DACA recipients. It did not happen. It has been reported that roughly 21,000 recipients were not able to gather the documentation, and the $495 that was required as part of the filing, before the deadline. If confirmed, will you reopen the application process and allow these individuals the opportunity to renew their status?" Nielsen: "I would commit to you to look into it. I'm not familiar with the specific numbers, but if there are extenuating circumstances that we should take into consideration, I would look into those and talk with you further." Emphasis added Harris: "I would urge you that part of the extenuating circumstances that should be taken into account is a national survey that found 57% of Americans say that right now they do not have the ability to pay $500 of an unexpected bill." Additionally, there have been a number of natural disasters around the country, including my own home state, where Americans have lost their entire belongings, their paperwork, and they are barely getting through the day, much less have the ability to compile extensive documentation and come up with $495, and I would urge you to prioritize that fact when you think of the extenuating circumstances." Nielsen: "Yes, ma'am." Since Breitbart News reporting on Nielsen's concessions to amnesty and reopening DACA, 2 clear violations of Trump's 70-point list of pro-American immigration principles, Rep. Steve King Rhea has called on the DHS nominee to disqualify herself from the position. Based upon the information in this article, Kirstjen Nielsen has disqualified herself from leading the Department of Homeland Security, King wrote on Twitter, Breitbart News reported. Pro-amnesty is anti-rule of law. Based upon the information in this article, Kirstjen Nielsen has disqualified herself from leading the Department of Homeland Security. Pro-amnesty is anti-rule of law. https://t.cos5hivomif9, Steve King at Steve Kingia November 10, 2017. As Breitbart News reported, Nielsen's nomination to head DHS has been praised by the cheap foreign labor lobby, Open Borders advocates, and the Washington, D.C. national security establishment, which allied itself with the failed Never Trump movement during the 2016 presidential election. In a pre-hearing questionnaire obtained by Breitbart News, Nielsen explained how she would be ready to work with Congress on a plan to give amnesty to the nearly 800,000 DACA illegal aliens in the U.S. Likewise, Nielsen chaired a committee at the World Economic Forum that promoted mass immigration to Europe and the U.S., claiming Western nations did not have a choice and needed to accept millions of migrants. That report, as Breitbart News reported, was co-authored by executives from multinational corporations and world banks. Additionally, Breitbart News reported on Nielsen's involvement with the Bush administration's response to Hurricane Katrina in 2005, when more than 30,000 illegal aliens and foreign workers were able to come to the U.S. to take American blue-collar jobs which those devastated by the natural disaster had hoped to get. Following Hurricane Katrina, 1.5 million Americans were displaced by the storm, and easing of labor laws by the Bush administration left many looking for work outside of the Gulf Coast because illegal aliens and foreign workers quickly dominated the cleanup effort. John Binder is a reporter for Breitbart News. Follow him on Twitter at @JohnBinder.